My name is Francis Corcoran. This is the meeting of the Finance Committee for the Environmental Facilities Corporation for Thursday, August 24th, 2023, 11 a.m. Our agenda today is started with a call to order by the chair. Madam Secretary, if you could call the roll.
Certainly. Chairman Corcoran.
Present.
Director DeMarquis.
Present.
Director Krasansky. Charlie. We were able to communicate before, so it says moderated.
Right. It's unmuted.
Okay, I heard you there.
How's
and
that?
then last but not least, Director Zarofsky.
I'm here.
Okay, we have the full committee.
Great. We today have a full quorum of the board for the Finance Committee. And so with that, I would take as item number 3 on our agenda, approval of the draft minutes from the June 22nd, 2023 Finance Committee meeting at which all members were present. Is there a motion to approve those minutes from June 22nd?
So moved.
Second.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. It passes unanimously. Today we have a presentation and discussion on the state revolving funds debt authorization request for the Clean Water and Drinking Water State Revolving Funds Bonds Series 2023. See formal resolution, which will appear as ID number 1 on our larger board meeting today. And today we have Brian McClintock presenting. And if you could, Brian, would you actually, I'll take a motion that we approve this item for full approval at the board meeting as ID number 1. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? I'll second.
I'll second.
All right. And with that, Brian, if you wouldn't mind with the presenting.
Thank you. Good morning. As you said, this is for Series 2023C for an estimated bar of just over $189 million. It is for expected to have AAA ratings for tax-exempt financing. It will be it will be senior bonds under the 2010 MFI for both clean water and drinking water recipients. There are 23 recipients and there are 25 projects. There are 12 clean water projects and 13 drinking water projects. The dollar value is not split as evenly. There's $144 million worth of clean water projects and $45 million worth of drinking water projects. We do have 2 new recipients this time, and it's the County of Ontario and South Glens Falls. So they're brand new to the program, but we do have 10 new recipients that have never been in the MFI before. They have had in the 2010 MFI before. They've had projects that were older or they were direct financings. As normal, the clean water projects, the ones that qualify for subsidy, will be at 50%, and the drinking water projects will be at 1/3. There are 6 market rate financings in this pool. Folks that did not score high enough on the IUP, so we are able to give them the benefit of EFC's AAA financing, but no subsidy. We do expect to market these bonds as green bonds, as we have in the past for all of our pool financings. And right now we have an estimated TIC of about 3.6%. And that will deliver approximately $45 million worth of subsidy credits to the borrowers. Well, you know, the big thing is those are estimates. As we know, as we've all seen in the markets are fairly volatile right now. And we do have one a Fed Open Markets Committee that will meet in September. And then this will price right prior to the next one after that. further on down, we give a breakdown of the recipients. We have a list of who's participating in this. There's no big changes. If you look at page 5, it shows our concentration in borrowers. Just want to point out that there is a change in there from the last time. Nassau County was 6th overall last time, but with the authorization of $95 million in this pool, they will move up to 2nd. So they will be our 2nd largest borrower.
So Nassau County for EFC will become the 2nd largest borrower across the board?
In the MFI. New York City is our largest borrower, but within the MFI, they will be the 2nd. That is correct.
Wow.
So
they continue to have more needs as well.
Well, and this is only 2/3 of the project. So they've got probably another $100 million. Another $100 million coming after this. And that'll be approximately $300 million. And the project is what, Brian, about 500?
Correct.
So there was they received a bunch of grants on that project also.
Yeah.
And then, finally, we have a graph that shows the ratings for the MFI. No big changes there. That 44% are AA, or better, and then 39% at single A. We do have a lot of recipients that are not rated. Even in this pool, there are a bunch that are not rated. Just means that they don't issue that often, and when they do, they issue through folks like us that don't require the rating.
Right.
Any questions?
I mean, I love the. I thought the presentation was very helpful, Brian. I love the breakdowns.
Yeah, very good. It's really good to follow and see the changes in Nassau too.
Yeah.
I've got a question, Brian.
Yep.
Just the unallocated equity accounts in the clean water, drinking water. Just wondering how much is in those accounts now? Because as you know, again, let's say somebody can't repay, that's where you go, right?
Yes, we have approximately $1.2 billion in the clean water and approximately $250 million, right, Kevin, in the drinking water? Almost $300 million in the drinking water accounts right now. The primary purpose for those dollars is to finance projects, but it is there if there is a default as a secondary dollar.
And from a coverage standpoint, Brian, we're well over 130.
Correct,
service.
Yep.
Our requirement under the indenture is 115, I believe. We're at the mid 130s.
Right.
135 is a good estimate for right now. We've just started running that, but it grows as the years go up too.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, the coverage grows.
Yes, the coverage does grow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to actually ask a question on the coverage, which I thought was great. Have we seen, I know you just started, have we seen the coverage over the last number of years or projected going up or going down as an overall?
In the past couple of years, we've done a lot more market rate financings because we've gotten projects off the ground with different types of grants. And with a market rate financing, the coverage is going to drop a little bit, obviously, because there's nothing to leverage there. But overall, we have seen our coverages stay relatively steady.
Which is probably very good for the very happy news for the rating agencies, I'm sure.
Correct. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Well done.
I have a question just about the ratings. How current are, I see the ratings, like you said, many are not rated, maybe never been rated. Because I'm wondering, how current some of the, all the ratings or some of the ratings are just in your, just a ballpark?
We monitor the ratings on a weekly, every other week. We're in there and we're checking to make sure that we have the current ratings. When they're upgraded or downgraded, we have those and we put those in the system. How old some of these ratings are, I couldn't tell you. We could research that if you'd like to know that. But off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you the last time some of these have been upgraded.
Are you asking, Charlie, are you asking, just to be clear, how current, say, S&P's rating of a particular municipality is as it flows through? Because those are updated. They're supposed to be reviewed every year, at least once a year. But that's on a general geo basis, not necessarily a project, obviously it wouldn't be project basis.
Right.
I was reading something about Westchester just this morning. Westchester was December. Everyone reviewed. Nassau County is going to be reviewed more than the town of Balsam Lake. They just don't issue as much. So.
Yep.
Hey Brian, I think I asked this the last time we did an issuance, but probably given the environment we're in, worth mentioning again. You mentioned the Fed Open Markets Committee is coming up in September. Do you guys have? Who knows where that's going to go, right? But do we have what would be the contingencies, if anything, based upon if it goes one way versus another? Or does that affect, what effect, if any, could an outcome from that meeting have on the plans to issue or not?
I think we're still going to issue the bonds as long as the market is open. Okay. These people, some of them have to get into long-term financing at this point, because they're restricted in how long they can stay in the short term. We have not seen, there's only been a couple of cases where the markets have shut down. One was after 9/11. The other one was just a couple of years ago, right after we shut down for COVID. And in both cases, we were able to delay the deal and get into the market very shortly thereafter.
The other thing, Brian, this is all new money, so we don't have the refunding to track savings, Adam, so that we wouldn't be out of money on refunding where we've seen in the past with volatility.
So bottom line is this is going forward unless, obviously something catastrophic happens, but there may be an effect on pricing?
They're exactly correct. There could be an effect on pricing. As I said, the estimate TIC is 3.6. That could go up. It could go down. With the trends right now, I don't know if it's going to go down, unfortunately.
Right.
The one thing to remember is that as that goes up, so does the subsidy. So most of the borrowers that are getting, all the clean water borrowers that are subsidized at 50%, they're only getting affected by, it's a 50% hit with the increase in the rates, because they're increasing their subsidy also.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, I guess the only other question, and I'll move on, but I take your point, is there any, and I don't expect this personally at the September meeting, but in case there's some bananas number, is there any pain threshold for you on the pricing side that we should be aware of, right? That fluctuations are fine, but if there's some major jump or kick, is there a point where you might revisit, or that might cause other problems?
Yes, we always revisit the yields and the market. Last year going into our pricing, we had a situation where the long end of the market was not selling. So we did some analysis in-house here, and we're able to adjust our financings, the EFC financing, but leave the recipient financings alone if we had to. So we are monitoring that type of thing. If there is a huge fluctuation, we could do something like that where we shorten the EFC public debt, but we don't touch the recipient debt. Therefore, we could go shorter on the curve and hopefully keep the rates down. However, right now, as we all know, the curve's inverted, so sometimes it's we just have to watch it.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. Interesting times.
Yes.
So, any other questions from any of the members? Brian, as always, well done and, very good, very good presentation as far as, literally how you presented and broke down some of the additional information, which I thought was very useful. So, much appreciated. So there's a motion on the floor and a second that we approve, this is ID number 1, the revolving funds bond series 2023 C formal resolution to the full board at our meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There being none, it passes. There being no further business, I would like to call for a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
I'll make a motion.
I was going to say, I thought I heard Charlie. Is there a second? A second from Adam. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.